Hello my friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. It's Mama Ming here. In my channel I do a variety of lifestyle videos, pregnancy and motherhood videos. If this is the first time you're on my channel, it would mean the world to me if you could subscribe. And I do have a main channel that focuses on lifestyle, which is Miss Ming. You can check that out where I feature a lot of lifestyle and food content. So in today's video, I want to share with you my tips and tricks how I lost my pregnancy weight. So in my main channel, I actually made videos about fitness, especially those science-based weight loss tips. But in today's video, I just want to share my own experience of losing my pregnancy weight. Before I start, I just want to do a disclaimer. My determination to lose my pregnancy weight is not just for, the look. You look beautiful regardless of what that number is on the scale. The reason why I wanted to lose pregnancy weight was that when I was pregnant, a lot of the moms who had multiple children in the past, they said when they didn't lose their pregnancy weight from the first pregnancy, every single pregnancy, like they gain a little bit more, and every time they're a little bit heavier than the second or the third pregnancy, it just became harder and harder because that excessive weight plus the pregnancy just made their life a little bit harder. It was a lot for their back, and so they highly recommend me to lose the pregnancy weight. So since I want another baby after this one, so that's why I lost the pregnancy weight. At the time of filming this video, my baby is over 1 year old, and it took me about 4 months to lose my pregnancy weight. How much did I gain? Okay, this could be a little extreme. I gained 50 pounds during pregnancy, and it's way more than what the doctor recommended pregnancy gain, because the doctor recommended gaining between 20 to 40 pounds, but I gained 50 pounds. A lot of times when people hear about the 50 number, they're like, how did you gain that much pounds? Like, isn't it unsafe if you gain so much? So I actually talked to my OBGYN and I talked to another doctor, and they all said that how much you gain during the pregnancy really depends on like your previous weight and during your pregnancy complications. If you do have hypertension, preeclampsia, or gestational diabetes, or you're at risk of those things, it could be better if you are better in controlling your weight. Versus I actually had the opposite problem. I had low blood pressure. So to me, they actually do not recommend controlling my weight too much. They were just like, if your body feel like it's needing the nutrients, just go ahead. Honestly, the 13 pounds of them are just the baby, the placenta, the fluid, and everything. So 3 days after I delivered the baby, I lost 13 to 14 pounds. But after that, all the pregnancy weight were just there. So I had to actually make an effort to lose the pregnancy weight. So in today's video, I want to share my tips. If it is your goal to lose some of the pregnancy weight or all of the pregnancy weight, those are the tips that I worked out for me. The first tip is breastfeeding. So I know this one, it could be controversial because a lot of people that I know that breastfeed, they didn't lose pregnancy as fast as I did, but I did pump a lot of milk, and you do have to eat a little bit extra nutrients just to keep up your milk supply. How much do you actually burn in breastfeeding? There are different stories online, like you burn 300, burn 500, some people say you burn 400 to 600. So how much calories do you actually burn breastfeeding? Okay, so there is no such a thing as arbitrary number, and I did some research. Your 1 ounce of breast milk is probably between 13 to 24 calories. So let's say if we take the middle ground for 15 calories per ounce, if you produce 30 ounces of breast milk, that's 15 plus 30, so that's like 450. But if you produce 60 ounces of breast milk, then that doubles how much calories you actually burn producing the milk. And thinking about, you actually burn more calories than the actual calories in the milk, because like you have to burn the calories to get the whole mechanism going. When I was pumping, I actually pumped for 14 months. When I first started pumping, I was pumping every 2 hours, and I was like setting an alarm pumping every single night. So I actually pumped between 60 to 70 ounces of breast milk a day, and I actually donated half my milk to my friend who just had a baby too. So I actually breastfed 2 babies. So when I was pumping a lot, I felt like it was easier to lose weight just because you burn extra calories when you're breastfeeding. So I know breastfeeding is so hard, and if you are able to produce breast milk and if you are able to pump, I do recommend like to do that, because it not only helps with your baby, it also helps with losing the weight. But I also know people who lost weight without breastfeeding, so this is just something that worked out really well for me. The second tip is I did a lot of low intensity zone 2 training. So a lot of people didn't believe me on this because I was telling people, asked me like, how did you lose the weight? Because there are a lot of my friends that wanted to lose weight at the gym. I was like, I lost weight from power vinyasa. I lost weight from power yoga. And they were like, no way, you just do yoga and you lost weight? How come? But okay. So first of all, the type of yoga that I do is not just stretching, it's actually a exercise. It's power vinyasa. You'll go through rigorous hand salutations with push-ups, upper dog to downward dog to lunging positions to squat positions. So it's actually a very rigorous body weight workout, and it's very low intensity, low impact. Whenever time I do yoga, power yoga, especially at home without the heat, my heart rate is always in the zone 2 area. She went to the gym coach and I did a metabolic assessment. So it turned out that when I was doing zone 1 and zone 2 training, whatever training you do, it could be incline walk, it could be brisk walk, it could be jogging, it could be power vinyasas. Every time I am in zone 2, I actually burn a good amount of fat. But the moment I push forward to zone 3, I'm burning half of the fat and half of the carbs. And when I was trying to lose weight, I actually stayed in zone 2 training for the first 8 months because my cardiovascular health wasn't so great after the pregnancy. So the fact that I was doing like exclusively yoga training and my heart rate was always in zone 2, I actually prioritize the burning of fat. So of course, if you want to like overall health, if you want a more rigorous program, it's good to stay in zone 2 on some days, and on other days try to push your VO2 on cardiovascular health to push a high intensity HIIT interval training. But when I was focusing just losing weight, I mainly did zone 2 in my power vinyasa rigorous power yoga practice. Of course, you don't have to just do yoga. You can also do incline walk. It's very effective. Because my heart rate wasn't very high, I could do zone 2 for a long time. So it is very effective in terms of how much calorie you burned, also how much fat you burned in general. So I think zone 2 training was the one thing that actually helped me to lose weight after a pregnancy, and it's way safer compared to the other high intensity training because after the pregnancy, like your hormones are all over the place. I wouldn't stress my heart too much in the first 6 months after postpartum. I wouldn't go like right away, go sprint, go like high intensity interval training. I would just stay in zone 2 for the first like 4 to 6 months and then slowly push maybe to zone 3 and maybe push a little bit zone 4. Hey guys, as you can see, here is my metabolic assessment results. I like to train in zone 2. As you can see that from zone 1 to zone 5, the number of calories you burn per minute actually increase as you increase your heart rate. So if you want to burn more calories, yes, you want to actually train in the higher zones. But after the pregnancy, my cardiovascular health was different and also my hormones are all over the place. It affected my VO2 max, it affected my heart rate a lot. On the day of doing this assessment, I actually had a hormonal issues where my heart rate was higher than normal. Although it says like, yeah, I burn less calories training in zone 2 compared to in zone 3 and 4, but I mainly burn fat compared to carbs. So here's the thing, there is also a trade-off. You want to burn more calories as much as you can within short period of time, but you also want to train to burn a little bit more fat if weight loss is your goal. So when I first recovered from my postpartum after I gave birth, I started doing power vinyasa, doing yoga about 10 days postpartum, and there is no way I do some sort of like zone 4 training. But zone 2 training was the one that actually sustained me and that helped me to lose a lot of weight. Even though I wasn't burning a lot of calories, I was actually burning a lot of fat, which helped because I could do yoga for like 2 hours of a day without being super tired, versus if I just sprint, I can only sprint for like 30 minutes. I wouldn't do too high intensity because your body is still healing, your organs are still healing, everything is just in a very recovered state. So I think personally it really helped me to do that zone 2 training. It doesn't have to be cardio. You can do body weight training as long as you elevate your heart rate a little bit into that zone 2 mark. Personally helped me a lot. And zone 2 is actually the zone where I could actually sustain my workout for longer than 40 minutes. I can just be in zone 2 for 2 hours in terms of endurance. Tip number 3 is actually a lot of weightlifting. So after I came back from the pregnancy, after I recovered from the pregnancy, I started weight training before I started back in my cardio training because my heart was just because like the hormones actually changes her cardiovascular functions, your VO2 a lot, especially the hormone of progesterone during pregnancy. So I actually did a lot of weight training, and during weight training, my my heart rate zone was also in zone 2. So I did a lot of weight training to gain muscles. When I gain muscles, it also stimulated my resting metabolic rate a little bit higher because I was gaining muscles, and I was also doing a lot of things where I could push a little bit harder, but I'm just staying a little bit slower because, you know, coming out of pregnancy is a little bit different. So I didn't really push myself to the limit. On a scale 1 to 10, 10 is max out, 0 is just lay there. I think I was training at about 6.5 to 7 most of the times, and my heart rate was, you know, fluctuating, but mainly from zone 2 to zone 3. And I think that weight training was also very helpful in terms of recovering, especially a lot of the core training and the spinal strengthening workout that I did also helped me with the postpartum. And I did a lot of yoga. Like if you have access to a yoga coach, a licensed yoga coach, especially people who are licensed with power yoga, try to find yourself like a yoga studio or a gym where there's like a yoga where it's more power-based, strength-based. Because every time I ask people to join me with yoga, people are like, I'm not flexible. Okay, I'm not flexible either, but the yoga that I do is not about flexibility, it's more about the strength. So I would say most of the times when I go to any gym classes or Pilates classes, the core was just so easy for me because there was no such workout that challenged my core as much as power yoga. So I just love that core training. So that's why I gained my 6-pack after about like 4 months. I can see my 6-pack again. About 10 months, it was just sculpted. I know like it's not everyone's goal to get the 6-pack, but yoga was the one thing that really helped me. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is my diet. Because I was breastfeeding, I could not go on a diet. Like pregnancy women and nursing women should not go like super high intensity intermittent fasting. They shouldn't go like long period of fasting. Like you can do short period of fasting, but not long period of fasting. Pregnancy and also nursing women shouldn't really go on keto diet. It's not recommended by doctors unless you're working like closely with a doctor. I wouldn't recommend you do those during pregnancy or during breastfeeding because your body need that carbs to really help you to produce the milk. You need the calories to stimulate the milk because if you're doing fasting for too long, your body may be in shock, like not producing the breast milk for your babies. So that's why when I was going through like weight loss after pregnancy, I was trying not to be doing intermittent fasting as like sometimes when I used to do before the pregnancy or now, because I could be eating my last meal at 9 and I could just go work out or whatever and not eat anything until like 2 to 3 now. But back then when I was like breastfeeding, I would force myself to eat after 12 hours. So my last meal would be like 9 or 10 at night because, you know, breastfeeding and stuff. I go to bed like, and then I wake up frequently to pump. And if my last meal is 9 p.m., then my next breakfast is usually about 10 a.m. Just because I was breastfeeding. But just because you can go on intermittent fasting, just because you can go on those keto diet, low carb diet, doesn't mean that you cannot lose the weight. You don't actually have to go on intermittent fasting or keto diet or vegan diet to lose weight. And actually the best way to lose your weight is not to go on those diets because those restrictive diet usually gives you this much, because when you're losing weight, you're already in a caloric deficit. But if you're already in that deficit, your brain is already noticing sometimes like you're overworking yourself or you're having hunger. If you go on those restrictive diet, it also gives you this mental thing. It's like, oh my gosh, my life just becomes so hard. It's just extra stress to your body and the brain. And it's just not something that you need after giving birth to a baby. When you have a 3-month-old, 4-month-old baby that's like needs your attention 24/7 and breastfeeding and pumping every 2 hours, like the last thing you need is extra stress on your body. So I actually don't recommend going on any special diet to lose weight after the pregnancy. Personally, I was just eating more balanced diet, but here's a little trick. So I talked to my midwife. So I did have both midwife and OBGYN that I used to see because sometimes they are unavailable. I just alternate them. I talked to my midwife, which is also a friend that I know from the gym. So she said like the secret here is the protein. So if you're breastfeeding, like if you're just worried, if you're trying to lose weight and breastfeed at the same time, you're going to caloric deficit, it's going to impact your milk supply. Try to eat extra protein that you think you need. So myself, I'm 120 pounds ish. So when I was breastfeeding, I was eating at least 100 protein. So I was scarfed down those like turkey, natural turkey meat, chicken thighs, eggs. Like I was just forcing myself to eat those protein. And honestly, I don't like to eat meat. I don't enjoy eating protein. I love eating carbs, to be honest. But to lose weight, I was just like trying to make sure that my body thinks that I am getting enough that I need. And when you're breastfeeding, you're supposed to eat 15% more than normal, like of protein, because you know, you're producing protein for the milk. I was eating extra protein, like at least 100 grams of protein in, you know, relation to my weight. Back then, when I gave birth, I was like weighing 155. So I was trying to eat at least over 110 grams of protein. Sometimes I don't eat enough, but I'm always like putting the meat and the eggs and avocados, some fat into my diet. So after every meal, after you eat so much protein and so much vegetables, you just don't feel like eating that dessert. You just don't feel like snacking on the chips. You just don't feel like those things. So that's what actually helped me, is to prioritize protein intake, especially if you are breastfeeding. And also, even if you're not breastfeeding, eating protein, it also helps you to synthesize protein to help you to recover. So the next thing that I want to talk about that really helped me is that one habit that changed my life is no snacking when I was trying to lose weight. This is something I want to say pretty hard for me because I am a huge snacker. In the past, I would just eat snack all day and not eat a main meal. I just love to snack. But honestly, the nutrients you get from snacks, no matter if it's marketed as healthy snacks, it's not going to be as healthy as your main meal, where you steam some broccoli, you go stir fry some eggs and chicken. Like it's gonna not going to be the same amount of nutrients because you're snacking on, unless you're snacking on broccoli and mushrooms and chicken breast all day. It's probably something very processed and mainly very carb heavy. So when I was trying to lose weight, I told myself I'm not going to eat any chips or like snacks until I lose the pregnancy weight. So every day I just eat my main meal, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I try not to snack. And sometimes, yes, I snack here and there if I feel hungry after a pump. Of course, I'm not going to starve myself, but this one thing that I did during weight loss phase was I did not snack at all. And after I lost the pregnancy weight, I came back to snacking, and then my weight loss just stopped. But I already achieved my pre-pregnancy weight. I did not lose more, so it was actually very helpful to control my weight, like by control that one variable, which is snacking. So why is snacking? Because first of all, most of the snacks are high calorie, low nutrient density. So it's not very nutritious. Even if you eat a lot of calories, your brain will still think you're hungry because you're not getting the vitamins, you're not getting the protein, you're just eating carbs. The second thing about snacking is that like pretty much I noticed like when I try to lose weight, I need to make sure that my insulin level is not always high, like always spiked. Because if you're eating every hour, like your insulin level is continuously high. Versus if you're just eating 3 meals intermittently, then your insulin will spike after each meal, but then it will drop. Your blood sugar will drop pretty low to a fasting state for a couple of hours before your next meal. Personally, I think it really helped me to control my blood sugar because I do have diabetes genes. Genetically, I'm prone to diabetes. So I had to be very careful in terms of like what type of sugar and carbs that I intake and then order of food that I eat. Personally, I do not like to snack in between meals if I'm trying to lose weight or control my blood sugar. So to me, like when I was trying to lose the pregnancy weight, I was just trying to eat 3 meals and not eat snacks. And occasionally I was like, oh, I really want to tempt it for this chips. I would just finish the bag in a week and not buy another bag. So I did not snack for 3 months, and then I went back to snacking, and then my weight loss slowed down. But After 3 months, I actually lost a lot of weight. So I actually didn't need to lose more, but I just lost a little bit more in my fourth. I just think not snacking is really helpful in terms of losing my pregnancy weight. And it's actually less effort than I thought it would be, because at first I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to lose weight. I have to be mindful of what I eat. But actually, I wasn't super mindful of what I eat, as long as it's not fast food or fried stuff. It's mainly like all stir-fried stuff, a little bit of carbs, a little bit of protein, a little bit of fat, a little bit of vegetables. I wasn't eating like extremely healthy. I was eating maybe 75% healthy, but the fact that I didn't snack and I prioritized protein was really, really helpful. Next thing I want to talk about losing pregnancy weight is the psychological factor about losing weight, because before this time I actually lost weight once in my life. It was actually during my teenagers to early 20s years, where I had a health issue and I was taking mainly taking hormones, and I gained a lot of weight like super fast. And afterwards my weight wouldn't change until like the effect of hormones actually disappeared. It took like 9 months for the hormones to disappear from my system. After a while, after I lost the weight, the one thing that really helped me to lose weight was actually me not feeling frustrated about not losing weight. I know it's like a psychological thing, but trust me, it works. So I think what really helped me was that when I felt like I wasn't making any progress, this was happened like in my late teenager years and early 20s, like when I felt like I wasn't making progress in losing my weight, I felt frustrated with myself. I was just binge eating. But then I was like gaining my confidence without like judging my weight, because in my early 20s, like I was like 19. Yeah, I think I was like 19 when this happened, 18, 19, and I was like, I'm just gonna be chubby for the rest of my life. But my friends still thought I was cute, so I'm just gonna be a cute chubby girl, no big deal. So the moment that I thought like that, I felt confident in who I was, regardless of if my body figure. So the moment I felt that way, and I lost weight super fast, because I wasn't paying too much of attention of, oh my gosh, I can't believe I overate this. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I ate ice cream. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I just don't feel that way anymore. I was like, oh, I want to eat a little ice cream, then fine, I'll just eat 3 bites. No big deal. I just felt like that was actually better, because I feel like it's better not to go on a restrictive diet than like just eat a little bit in moderation, because psychologically it worked out for me back then. So this time when I was pregnant, before I actually delivered my kid, I actually walked on the scale at the hospital and I was 170 pounds, and I was only 120 before the pregnancy, so I gained 50, right? So when I stepped on it, I was just like, oh my gosh, I weighed more than my husband, who's 6 feet tall. So my husband is 6 feet tall, and he also weighed 165 pounds. So I was like, damn, I'm heavier than my husband, but I'm loving it because I just felt I was chubby and cute. I don't know, I just had this weird confidence in me that I didn't feel bad about gaining so much weight. But afterwards, I was like, I'm just gonna do what I usually do and make a few adjustments in my workout plans and diet plans and overall lifestyle. And it worked really well. I was losing between 1 to 2 pounds every single week, consistently every single week. I was like, at the beginning, I was losing 2 pounds a week, and then I was losing 1 pound a week, and I was losing 0.5 pound a week. And I was like, I'm loving it, it's happening. And there are definitely times where it fluctuates, especially when it comes to water retention and stuff like that. And I was like, it's okay. So the fact that I felt so confident in me really also helped me in stayed with my plan of weight loss after the pregnancy. The last thing that I want to talk about the weight loss is, I think actually the most important thing that I should, in the first place, I should actually prioritize. This is the most important thing. The most important thing about weight loss, to believe or not, is your sleep. When I was trying to lose my pregnancy weight, I weighed myself every single day just to see what are the factors that actually affected my weight loss. And believe it or not, it's actually my sleep quality. It's the amount of sleep that I get, it's the quality of the sleep I get. It's so hard to get any sleep with a newborn, and I would just wake up like 5 times in the middle of the night just to pump at the beginning, and then I'll wake up like 3 times to pump, and then I'll wake up 2 times to pump, and then once to pump. So the sleep, that it was like catching up, but at the same time, I noticed that every time I had a good night of sleep, I felt less hungry. I eat less calories. If you track how much calories you feel like your body needs, like it's heavily influenced by your nervous system, by your brain chemicals, and the brain chemicals that it's regulated by certain brain areas of the brain, that not having enough sleep will actually change the hormone release of your brain that actually makes you want to binge or at least eat more carbs. So I noticed if I don't get enough sleep, the next day I binge or eat more carbs. I was like, why? Am I having an eating disorder? No, it's just I didn't have enough sleep, and it just happened on the days I didn't get any sleep because of my newborn baby, and on the days where my husband was helping out a lot. Equivalently, I may have had a total of 8 hours of sleep, even though it's interrupted. If I can sleep for longer than 8 hours, sometimes I can sleep for 10 hours, just have to wake up in between to pump. I actually lose a lot of weight when I first wake up in the morning, and part of it is also the fact that I retain less fluid, and my overall health always improve after I have enough sleep. So if I can have one big advice for you, for anyone actually, if your plan is to lose weight and gain performance, look better, prettier, younger, the most important thing in your life is to sleep. Not having enough sleep is correlated with higher chance of postpartum depression as well. So if I can give one advice, is use any resources you could have. Don't be afraid that people judge you, because I was judged, because people who never experienced the lack of sleep, that waking up every hour to wait to feed your baby, they don't understand. They'll be like, you're the mom, why do you need to send your baby to this person just to sleep? I'm like, you don't understand. If you could sleep as much as you can, do it. And don't worry about should I snack before I sleep? Should I eat before I sleep? No, if you can sleep, just sleep. And it's gonna be so helpful in your postpartum journey as a whole, and also the postpartum weight loss. Alrighty, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Those are the key things that really helped me. If you want more on this content of my postpartum recovery, please comment down below. And if you're currently pregnant, or if you just gave birth to your baby, congratulations. Well, I hope this video is helpful to you. If you have any tips and tricks, also comment down below, because I'm thinking about having another kid in the future, so it will be very helpful to me as well. And that's it for today. Before you go, like and also subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends. It will really help me out, and I hope to gain 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so your support can really mean the world to me. That's it for today, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!